Welcome to our first episode, Not Boxed. Today we're going to talk about accountability, we're going to talk about employment, we're going to talk about having big ambitions, we're going to be talking about meaningful careers with... How do you want me to introduce
You know what?
you?
3 personas, but you can just call me Prospect.
Prospect, yeah?
Yeah, just
okay.
Prospect.
And like off camera, what can I call you?
Same thing.
Prospect?
Yeah.
So no name,
No name,
Okay.
incognito.
Okay. Prospect, because yesterday in the office we were just saying your name the whole time.
Oh gosh.
And we were like,
thank you for that.
We were like prospect, prospect, like which
Prospect
one?
Panther, I'll hold that one as well, but sometimes people, you know, it's a long name. I don't want to make people say the whole thing. But yeah, how you doing though?
I am good. How are you?
Better now that I'm here, I think. Now that we get to talk some stuff.
Yeah.
You get me, I'm empowered, man. So you come all the way from
Manchester.
And you're going back.
Manchester tonight.
Crazy. You see the dedication there, guys? That's crazy, boy.
So what made you agree to do this?
What, this podcast?
Yeah, this
Not
podcast and Not Boxed. Especially this podcast, because this is like a last minute thing and you don't agree to something unless you believe in it or you want to talk about whatever this podcast is about.
Dun, dun, dun. I believe in this project. I think that's the most important thing. We had a team meeting, I think just yesterday.
You told me, Gary.
Amazing. It was a good team meeting. Gary's in a suit. Don't see that often, guys.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
in a track suit. Yeah, but he's in a suit. He looks sharp, man. And he gave us basically the rundown. Like, he gave us the intent behind the project, the methodology about how we're going to deliver it, and the kind of partners that they want to get involved. And I think, to be honest with you, coming from that background myself, considering the young people that we're targeting with this project, I feel like what we're offering is what I would have benefited from. So yeah, it's only right that I contribute in my own capacity and try and amplify the impact that it has on the neighbourhoods that we're targeting. So yeah, man, I'm down for that. And for this podcast in specific, I feel like there's a lot of things that need to be spoken on, a lot of things that get brushed under the carpet, and I feel like...
Like what?
Like in terms of accountability, like in terms of whose responsibility it is to actually uplift our younger generations and our country as a whole. So I feel like a lot of these types of conversations get pushed to maybe just politics, and then once they're in politics, God knows where their actual issues go.
You want to be a future Prime Minister, right?
I will be, indeed.
I love that. I love that. So what would you do differently? 3 things that you'd do differently. I love 3. I love
the top 3 things.
Yeah, I'm just like top 3.
What, like new things or different things, like currently that I changed?
Okay,
just
you
open.
answer it the way you wanna.
I'd have, the first thing I'd do is like a national, for the country, a takeover day, where young people basically would get to subsidize organizations to be able to facilitate young people for 1 day at least, preferably like a weekender, but maybe a day minimal.
Cool.
Number 2, I would have open forums and community groups. Like I set up a hub in every community where community leaders can report to in regards to like problems in the community that they're facing or that they interact with community members and that come up, any things that they feel like need sorted out in the community or funded, or just typically things that is lacking at the moment in that area that need to be picked up. And the third thing, I'd make sure that, you see like Carnival and stuff like that is out there. I'd make sure that there's cultural festivals.
Obviously, the Not Boxed campaign is going to be finishing in like the next 6 months, 5 months.
Dun, dun, dun.
Do you think it would be worth us extending it? And do you feel like it has had an impact on, you know, employment for young people? Two questions.
Yeah, I'd definitely say anything should be extended with the right examples of outworks. Like if we can showcase how we've transitioned young people, because that's what I'm about. I'm about authenticity in it. I'm not about the tick box. We've helped this many young people, and then God knows what they've actually gone on to go and do. So if we can showcase, for example, like there's a young person at Loughborough that we outreached. His name is Kai, and like when I was offering to him the services that the Knockbox offers, he was saying like, I don't want to be spoon-fed, like this is too much, you lot are offering me too much. I feel like if I take this, I'm gonna be indebted like to you, like I feel like I'm gonna feel like I can owe you something.
Yeah.
And I had to reassure him, first of all, these services only seem too much because you're from here, this area. These opportunities are standard procedure up in Kensington and them kind of places that have been there. So that's the first thing. You shouldn't feel any type of way belittled or like he's any less for taking them. I've definitely been in that position before myself, so I understood completely where he's coming from.
Yeah.
That kind of showed to me that the services that Knockbox is offering is something that they haven't been exposed to before. So that I think is enough to kind of extend the project in terms of enough of a shout for more partners to get involved, because young people that we're showcasing these services to have never seen interact with you guys before. I mean, giving them a first initial positive interaction. And once we do that, and we have a content where we can showcase he was here thinking and feeling like this, but now he's either got a registered company or he's working as an employee with one of these organizations, that's when we can kind of tick that box and say, yeah, we've helped him.
We'll tick the box and say that we're not boxed.
Yeah, we'll tick the box and say we're not boxed. We're
not boxed.
Different.
Okay, how did you find out about RFF?
I'm involved in an amazing project. I'm the co-chair of the Hope Collective for the youth panel, for the youth management team.
Oh yeah, okay.
And Peckham is close to like the area that Damilola Taylor was murdered. So that's where Damilola Taylor is from, and the Hope Collective supports Richard Taylor in massive amounts, as he's helped support the project, get it like to Downing Street, of course, because Boris Johnson is a supporter of the Damilola Taylor Trust. And building this collective of different organisations who have a similar interest in not focusing on knife crime and rubbish, man, and not focusing about that, but focusing about creating positive pathways for young people forward. This is the agenda and the narrative you want to push. If you can support that constitution, basically, then you can come forward in your capacity to support. And that's how I found out about the Rio Ferdinand Foundation, because Rio's from Peckham himself. And I was fortunate enough to give a speech in Downing Street about like the Hope Collective, about the condition of the world. I gave it raw, boy. I'll be so raw. There's no. They said no cameras, no phones. You have to leave all of your phones and stuff downstairs.
Stop. Why?
I got my camera inside. I got my camera
we can
inside.
Edit this out.
I think you can even keep that in there, by the way, guys. Since them lot are doing crazy stuff. But yeah, it didn't get recorded. I don't believe.
Why though? Why do you think they didn't let you guys record it?
Do you know what? I was thinking that at first, but then I like developing relationships with everyone, and especially Downing Street, because I kind of wanted to figure my way back in there. The guy said, obviously you guys are cool, but this is still Downing Street. There might be terrorists, there might be people like spies trying to infiltrate, and like although like we would be the perfect spies. Imagine I was a spy, and I was going in there as the Hope Collective, like as part of their team, but I was planting devices and stuff like that just because they let us keep it, just so they can record my speech. It's not good enough reason. So I kind of understood it from their perspective. It was weird, because I'm thinking, well, maybe have a camera on deck or something that don't leave the building or something. But other than that, shame on you guys, man. I would have loved to put that out there.
Did you get searched before going up? Yeah.
You get searched before you enter the building. Yeah, at the gates. I thought Downing Street was a road that you could actually just enter. I didn't know it was gated off and stuff like that before. Nah.
Okay, did you get extra searched because you're black?
No, I didn't.
Okay, good.
I didn't.
I'm glad. Thank you.
I did it. Yeah, you know I would have said if I did that. No,
I would have started a campaign just because of that.
I literally came out of Downing Street as the Panther, like with my mask on as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't really want me to take pictures of it, but like I said, I'm about transparency, authenticity, and that was a statement to show that our message as young people has been pushed and is there. Because obviously when you do youth work, sometimes you're working with organisations, sometimes you become a little bit out of touch with your community that you came from. You're not as in your community as immediately as maybe you was before, because maybe you're doing your work a little bit less community-based, but more nationally, but more globally. And I feel like this, with my persona that I've got here, everybody knows, or that doesn't know can get to know that the message is that young people are ready for a positive change. There are ambitious young people that don't fit this negative narrative and stuff like that.
Here's the thing, okay. Do you think that Gen Z, young people, are actually lazy? They are lazy, they think they are, what's the word? There's a word.
Like entitled?
Entitled, yeah. They're lazy, entitled, and they're too sensitive. like overly sensitive. I understand it's good to have, create that visible red line and have a healthy work-life balance and look after yourself and do all of that like self-love, self-care stuff. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But do you feel like it's overly done and they're very sensitive to the point that they think that people owe them so much when nobody owes them nothing?
Oh, see,
and I'm 22 myself.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I'm
we're both
supposed
22. Yeah.
I'm supposed to be like, no, we're great.
Yeah.
But in reality, like, I think
the whole of cohort of us is not. No.
I think our generation is messed up. Honestly, literally.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
I just think they're messed up. I feel like obviously there's like a little percentage that are actually like mature. They know their limits. They know how life works. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the other ones are just like living on TikTok, in my
But
opinion.
this is what I'm saying. Our generation is how they are by design. They're like this because they've been manipulated to be like this over generations of programming.
Go on, tell me.
So for example, TikTok you mentioned. China, I just saw a video just the other day. The algorithm, as everybody knows about the algorithm for TikTok in China, it's a Chinese made app, by the way. The algorithm that they send to us is, if you go on TikTok right now, you'll see mum getting pied by the son. Go on the Chinese TikTok now, there's young people learning different skills, get to be empowered, and you start to think, how am I not doing these things? The same way young people are seeing our algorithm and thinking, how am I not doing these things? So it's a program, and it's not down to the young people. It's down to, when we're talking about entitled, do you not feel to a certain extent that the older generation kind of owe you a pathway to a route of success?
100%.
Do you feel like our generation at the moment is giving that or promising that to young people, even though the last route that I feel like they had to promise young people a route to success with university, and not even university is guaranteeing young people a placement now? So in terms of our older generation providing pathways for our younger generation to come up and do the things that they're interested in, they've lacked. They haven't done that.
They've lacked, but at the same time, like, you have to be accountable, because we're gonna.
Of course,
you know what I'm saying? We're talking about accountability here. You have to be accountable of your own decisions and the way that you operate. Your lifestyle, the way that who you surround yourself by. You can't just blame people all the time, because I promise you, these people are gonna. No. They don't care. If you're not gonna create your own route, your own path, nobody's gonna give you that opportunity. Do you know what I'm saying? So.
Exactly, yeah. Because you're not part of that cohort. For example, you've chosen to be here doing this. It was a choice that you made. Like, that's exactly. It's not everyone that's made the decision to, you get me, fall under that programming and that mindset. So it's the difference of what went wrong.
But then I don't disagree with what you're saying as well. I totally agree, and I understand where you're coming from. So what do you think the older generation should be doing? What do you think the older generation could help us with, or like show us a bit of support? Like, how can they do that? Because I don't know. I just feel like nobody can support you but yourself. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's techie.
You just have to go out and find it.
What your success is.
You can't just expect everything to come, crawling or running to you, and they're like, oh, hi.
Yeah.
Here's your laptop, or here's a youth worker. Ask them for some support.
You have to go and find it.
You have to go and find it. Like RFF. Like, listen, at the end of the day, I'm no big deal. And honestly, like, I can be lazy sometimes and I can procrastinate.
Naturally, everyone.
And that's the reality of being Bushra. But at the same time, like, the way that I found RFF is by literally being one of the only guys in that educational institution that wanted to go to the BT workshop.
To find out more.
And when I went, I was literally like proper on it. Do you know what I'm saying? And then when they phoned me, I wasn't like, who are you? Or not really.
Cool. Why was you on it then? Why was you on it?
Because I've always been like that. I've always had a vision to where I want to be, and also I've never said no to any opportunity that comes my way.
Good. Yeah.
So for example, when Victoria called me, she was like, hey, we're doing like media sports, we've got a few projects on, we can help young people, like we can help yourself to set up their own project. I had no idea what I was going to do.
Fall into. You just said
I was just going to like, let's meet for a coffee. We met for a coffee at Cafe Nero. Boom, and here I am. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Let me ask, is there any external pressures, like, for example, your religion and stuff at home, is there like pressures for you to do well, or
Not religion,
or
culture.
from culture? Sorry, my
Culture
apologies.
and family expectations.
Yeah.
My mum has got a PhD. My dad's got his master's. Cousins, they're lawyers.
So let me highlight
And
something. She
everything.
just said, my mum has da-da-da and my dad has da-da-da. A lot of the young people that are influencing the statistics that we see on the news never had the dad in the first place. And then the mum didn't have any qualification to push them in, and likely probably got pregnant or had the child by mistake or something, or at a young age.
Good point.
So
So
when
I'm
you're going out
privileged.
with and that's what I'm saying. I don't feel like it's right to say privileged, but you are lucky. Fortunate, I think, is a better word to use. Fortunate, and I feel like even me, I'm fortunate that even though my parents aren't together, my dad still stayed in my life, for example, to guide me, whereas he could have just left. You get what I'm saying?
Again, I totally agree with you, okay? But it's all about perspective. Yes, I have that family pressure. Yes, I've got high expectations in my family. Everyone in my family have achieved great things. But I can be negative and be like, but they're all doctors and lawyers. Why would I want to become a TV presenter? Why would I want to access the creative industry when nobody believes in my vision, when nobody supports it, when nobody understands it? At the beginning, my parents did support it and understand it, but when they've seen how hard it is to access the industry, they're like, maybe you should have a backup plan.
Yeah, but what
do you
you're
know
gonna
what I'm
do?
saying?
Yeah.
So forget about my parents, family, extended family. Like, everyone doesn't get it, and they won't get it. I could have sat there and said, you know what? I'm not going to look like a loser for the next 5-10 years until I achieve success.
Yeah.
I'm just going to become a teacher or a businesswoman or a lawyer, and just have
But this is what I'm saying. I must stop you there. A lot of these careers that you're mentioning, the young people that I'm working with, especially down at Loughborough and stuff, they don't know about these. You've mentioned a a lawyer, a doctor. These kids can't even fathom that there's even this much available for them to do in the first place.
So what can the Not Boxed campaign and what can employers do for these young people? Because for me, obviously, I always say this, I'm so lucky to be brought up in a household where it's all positivity. They're always pushing for the best and everything.
Yeah.
But which made me think, oh my God, what about these young people that don't have great parents like me? What can I do? I started creating social action projects. Every time I get a bit of funding, I'm just like, okay, how can I get young people involved? Even if I can't pay them, how can I give them the experience? How can I discover new talent so I can pay them the next time I've got, more funding for a project? That's what I'm doing. What do you think the Not Boxed campaign should be doing, and what do you think employers should be doing for these young people that don't even
know what's out there at all?
Exactly.
Open their doors, like adopt that shadow working type model that we was talking about, or even if it's a 1 hour workshop, if every industry developed like a 1 hour introductory fun workshop. Like, remember when you was going to school, and you was going to your new secondary school, and then each classroom, like if you go to the science bit, it was like an open day, and then they'd be doing that rubbish with the bubbles, you light it and the fire will go different colours. That would be science. And you go maths, they'll be doing some fun little quiz. You never did any of that stuff when you actually went to school. But that was the marketing that school did to get the kids in. They know what they need to do to get kids somewhere. That's why I'm very confused why they're not doing it all over. But if organizations like Warner Music, who is a partner, made like an introductory session to the music industry and then said, cool, young people, you come through Loughborough, you come through Brixton Wings, as they're doing, have the opportunity to come and learn about and get an introduction to the industry, all the different types of roles, because even in media, look how many different, there's presenter, then there's lighting, then there's recording, there's all the things that people don't see behind the lens. So a lot of time people are just going to see this and think, oh, I want to be a presenter, or I want to be the footballer, but what about the guy, the cameraman, and what about the people that are doing all of the other types of jobs to make it work?
Manager,
the project manager, all of those types of things. It's for organizations to come through who know that they facilitate these opportunities and all of these positions, open their doors and say, just come in and learn. Because really and truly, what is going to happen? Like, what's actually going to happen?
How about the ones that are worried about young people not being committed enough for a job like this? Do you know what I'm saying? Because retail is easy, admin is easy, reception, call center. All of us can pretty much do it, right?
But when it comes to
the
using
media,
your creativity and stuff like that,
and producing, being on a production set, working under pressure, especially right now that literally most of young people
That's
are
when I
all...
feel like it comes down to purpose. Like if a young person, that's why with me personally, my whole journey started as an empowerment coach. I had a course that was teaching and helping young people plan out their future and uncover what it is that they want to achieve
When did
with
you
their
start
future.
doing that?
At 17. I mean, the first one I started distributing that.
Is that when you started like this journey, your career?
Yeah,
17?
this journey here, yeah.
Same. I started when I
It's
was
fun,
17.
yeah, it's fun, man. Self-appointed is the best way, man. Don't wait for someone to tell you you're who you want to be. Just become that person.
100%.
But with that, I found that once you help a young person understand what it is that they want with their future, and most importantly, why they want it, then they're kind of like a horse that you've slapped and let run. Like you don't really need to chase them up no more, because when you're under pressure, just for example, if they're going into the media industry and they're going to Warner Music and now they've got a project put in their hands, that's why I've got my workshop, and organizations, you need to be utilizing me, young people like me who have got a template, who know how to youth-led help other young people teaching young people. That is the only thing that's really working right now.
Yeah, because honestly, you
out of tune, man.
You guys that are like over 30 try to be like all cool and young. We can vibe, we can vibe it. We can sense the awkward, not fake, but
it's
not cool energy, basically. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can't really tell what it is. It's like your intent is there. Like we can feel you want the best for us and stuff, but it's like, nah, man.
Yeah.
I think I speak for the majority anyway. If you disagree, please do let us know in the comments or reach out to us on the Twitter or something.
Like, why are you hiring, for example, a 30, 40-year-old workshop facilitator that's going to be delivering a workshop for a 16, 17, 18-year-old? Why are you not hiring someone in their 20s or, in their late teens?
That has been equally as successful. As long as they can share similar experiences or lessons, like life lessons or shortcuts, whatever the older generations come to teach, as long as a younger person can teach similar things or similar content, then by all means there shouldn't be that barrier. And that is something I really faced. Ageism is one thing. But to finish that point though, we'll get on to that.
Oh.
But to finish that point, if a young person knows why they're doing a media project, I feel like they can be under pressure because they know their why. And once you know your why, you're kind of calm, because each time you get stressed, you know why you're doing it, whether it's for a parent, for your own aspirations, for whatever reason it is. You can withdraw that pressure, and I only help people to accomplish what they want to do with their future, not to fulfill a job position or something that may not be relevant to what they're actually interested in.
Okay.
So therefore, when they're under that pressure, it's a little bit easier to deal with it, because it's like, oh, it's hard, but I love this. Similar to this work, because I'm exhausted right now, but you didn't guess that. Because why? I love this. This is fun.
I always say that I'm like physically exhausted, but mentally energized.
I'm here with it.
Like I am literally, like I would be. Like,
see, bro's all smiling behind the camera, by the way. I know you guys can't see him, but he's like, yeah. He's
like literally last month after we did that round table with Rio and Kiss.
Yeah, recharge.
I went to Kiss FM. They invited me for to this event. It's called the Radio Academy. Anyway, so basically,
Has it happened or is it going to happen?
It happened already.
Okay,
It was the next day. Got a ticket and everything. And they were like, literally, Rihanna was willing to book me a hotel again. I was like, no, I'm going to go families. And then something happened. Literally, I had to go to Manchester, midnight.
Ooh.
And I had to sleep for 4 hours only and come back to London in the morning to make it on time for the event. I was here bang at like 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. I wasn't messing around. I stayed until 8. Yeah. And I was just literally physically...
And tell them why though. Tell them why is that? Why is that you made it on time?
Because how can I not make it on time? And you know what's so funny? The night before, I slept 4 hours as well.
Oh gosh!
So I was
a continual thing, guys.
I was dying. I was dying, but I was like, "Hi, everyone!" Like
that is.
And
funny.
I feel like I don't know. I just it's a Bushra thing. I can't see an opportunity and just let it go, even if I'm not sure if it's an opportunity.
Catch it. Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
You'll still be inquisitive and find out a little bit more about it.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to see what's going to happen. God knows what can happen after this.
So do you feel like, despite your aspiration, your drive, willingness to be professional when necessary, and your skill set to be able to present a show and succeed as much as maybe some of the most successful podcasters now, do you feel like there are barriers preventing you from doing that in terms of ageism, like in terms of age? Because I get that a lot of the time, like young people will, because of their youth, irrespective of how skillful they are or what they're capable of doing.
Yep.
It's as if you ain't earned that age respect yet kind of thing. So
Right.
I want to hear about that, man.
Bro, right, I always say this, right? People think that my headscarf or being Muslim or being Libyan, coming from a certain culture, is a barrier for me. No, it's not, because I've already
Conquered all of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Conquered.
Do you know what I'm saying? The only barrier is my age. I feel like people don't take me seriously because of my age. People actually think that I'm older than what I am when I speak, okay? And they literally they hire me for a job, or there was a point where I was like 17 and I wasn't supposed to be hired for a job because I wasn't 18. And it happened multiple times. And then they find out that I'm 18. They're like, oh, we thought you were a little bit older. Like, we can't.
That's a good thing though, yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
But, yeah.
Right now when I'm like, networking with people or I'm going for an interview, I never mention my age. I don't mention my age anymore. Because the second I mention my age, either my day rate will drop.
Yep. No more uno. And bro's even laughing behind the camera again, yeah? You see that?
My
no more
day
uno.
rate is going to go down,
Downtown.
okay? And
South
second
London.
of all, they just don't take you seriously.
Yeah, after that, innit? It's just like,
And
we'll get back to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, another barrier would be like funding. And funding, it's because of my age. Because I'm only 22, they think that I don't know what I'm doing.
Immature or something, yeah.
So if they commission my work or give me some funding, they think that I'm not going to do good with it. But yeah, that's
Meanwhile, they're giving it to
old
guys.
white people.
Yeah, I found that a lot of
Sorry.
the time. No, because
He's white.
is it? Yeah.
You know
I'm still
what we
smiling.
mean.
You know what? Yeah, on the Kish Roundtable, this is completely unrelated.
Go on.
I'll probably cut this anyway.
No, add that.
But
Man.
it's on,
Literally.
I checked the YouTube comments because it's been up for like a week.
Yeah.
And the only comment, obviously someone's like mum or uncle like posted, oh, I'm so proud of my whoever's involved. The only other comment, there's only one whitey here. What is this?
What?
Only one.
Yeah, man.
Oh no, but that was quite diverse. Even that, like, Notebox is quite diverse.
It is.
Another reason why I joined that panel, like, from contrasting from, like, young champions as well. Like, I'm not talking about just young people being on the panel. I'm talking about young people that have kind of self-appointed, took that ethos that within themselves and kind of constituted themselves and made that covenant by themselves to say, I want to impact people in this way. And then we've kind of come together to deliver. That's much more impactful than just having young people in a focus group or saying, how can we do a project? But even still, this ageism stuff, I feel like it's ridiculous at
Does
this
it
moment
affect
in time. Incredibly, if it has.
Give me an
Because
example.
even now, like with my workshops, my empowerment workshops, delivering them in schools across London, there was very few of them that I actually got like paid for properly. Other than that, it was the funny thing is it's the same workshop that I developed at 17 is the same one I'm delivering at 22, right? Now I charge a minimum of £1,000 to go to a school. Exact same content that I was delivering when I was 17, but having to deliver it for free. And it was being treated as pilot kind of work. Or we'll see how the young people interact, how it will go. I go there and exceed every single expectation, and then it's as if they don't know what to do because it's so different. And I've already learned people are like not really prone to change too much. So it is very different, hence the reason you kind of need to just keep going, be resilient and know your why. Like, because if I didn't know my why and what I was doing, no, I would have given up a long time ago. I'll be so real. But I said to myself, rah, if this is where I live and I can't get myself, what do I need to do basically to get respected enough to get paid my worth? And consequently, I feel like projects like Hope Collective, Not Box, all of those types of things is the positive reinforcing content that I needed. So that I go to schools now and I'll say, this is what I deliver, I'll take it or leave it, it's on the table kind of thing. And if not, I'm going to outreach as the panther to young people as soon as they leave that gate, but they're going to come through to me a different type of way, whether I'm targeting them through my music, whether I'm targeting them through my workshops that I'm going to do externally because we are self-appointed, we chose to do this, whether you're going to let me do it in a school or not. But those barriers shouldn't be there because how many times have we been in school and had these people sent in by organizations that are tick box organizations to deliver God knows what. I can't remember nothing that they would have taught me. So it's ridiculous. I'll never be paid the same as a white man in a suit, irrespective of whether the content is exactly the same. And I think that's ridiculous, something that needs to be spoken about. Like I'm saying, something that gets brushed under the carpet. But it doesn't make sense for 5 years continuously how someone like myself can, look how tired we are, bro. Like, I'm tired. Imagine all these barriers that we're facing. It's not like we just got a clean run trying to be successful. There's setback, setback, setback. All of these things to just disempower you and make you want to give up. To then continue going through and do all of that, it's like, man's got to talk about it. This has got to get addressed and this has got to get solved. Because at the end of the day, if it doesn't, then what is Not Boxed about? What are we really telling these kids? Because I'm not here to help kids just become employees. I'm here to say, is it your passion? Do you find a company that shares similar values as you that you can work for, or do you need to start your own? It's one of the two. Yeah. So literally, are we supporting young people to start companies for society to not then take them seriously because they're so young? I'm not readying young people for that. That don't make sense. I'm readying them for heartbreak. So we need, as well as go into the communities and talking with the kids, policy needs to be changed. These things need to be talked about openly and trial. If you want to trial us, send us in for workshops at a certain rate, and then after that you give the full rate. By all means, let's do it. But it needs to get done now. It's not no more talking, man. Because we've just been going through these problems, and there's no incentive for kids to be better people. Because really and truly, if I can make 10 racks in a month minimum off living in a legal lifestyle, what incentive is there to come and do youth work, or to come and do all of the work a 9 to 5 job, or contribute to my society positively when they're not even taking me seriously and they're criminalizing me each time I go and walk across the road or go into a shop? Especially people from my demographic. It's not like we get a clean run. We get criminalized, treated badly, and then we kind of grow into the people that society molds us to be. So when it's like that, don't try and hold us accountable for them falling down the path that you pushed us down, because that doesn't really make any sense. So, but as for young people, like you said about accountability, that's why I go to the communities and I talk exactly what I just said. I tell them this: come out of that matrix, because this is the plan for you. You need to wake up and see, like, if you don't hold yourself accountable to your dreams, you're gonna end up here. And at the end of the day, man's telling you, I'm not holding your hand and pushing you over here, because we don't have capacity for that. We'll get drained. Our job is to show kids that there is in fact another way. We're here fighting for another way. If you've got ideas, come forward with them. And this is what we're gonna do basically, and that's about it. No, that's live.
Just one more thing that I'm gonna ask you, but I need to ask you a question very quickly. How did you feel when people were like, "Oh, he's the only whitey in the group"? Like, because I think that's just so unnecessary. Like, honestly, I know some people be like, "Oh, how can you not see colour?" Well, I do see it obviously sometimes and stuff like that. Like, if someone does something nice, I'm not gonna lie, or if something happens or a crime happens or whatever, I'm always like, who is it? Where are they from? How do they look like? Question, I have to know, because that way I know the outcome. Do you know what I'm saying? If I'm Libyan and we're just like that. We always ask, where is that person from? What area? What city? We like to know the details, okay? Yes, I do see colour in that aspect. But when it comes to like sitting on a panel discussion or sitting on a round table or like being friends with someone or going out for dinner, like, I literally never think about these things. And if anything, I didn't even realise that you're the only white guy on the table. Literally. I don't know if you did.
Well, why is it something to even think about?
I know. So,
like, other than the types of conversations and type of experiences we may have had, it's not relevant.
So how did that make you feel?
It's kind of weird. It's like, kind of makes the whole.
Did you kind of expect it?
Huh? I didn't expect it. It's like control. That's why I've seen it.
Yeah.
There's a whole hour conversation, young people talking about their experiences, and it's like.
And then that was the comment, like.
Some like right wing, like racist.
Right. Final question. 3 things that someone needs to achieve success. So for me, it's resilience.
True.
You have to be resilient.
You have to get banged in the face and bounce back, man. So
you have to be okay with
failure
and getting rejected, and people saying some harsh, mean things to you, and criticism, not even constructive criticism. And when you don't get that, you ask for it. That's my rule.
True.
No, that's my rule. I'm always like, if I don't get constructive criticism, I'm just like, I'm not
leveling up from this experience then, is it?
I'm just like, excuse me, can I have some feedback? And literally, I don't even say feedback anymore, because people think you want nice
positive
comments.
Stuff, yeah.
And I'm just like, can I get some constructive criticism every time I go somewhere? I'm going to ask you this, guys, at the end as well. So that's...
I'm good today. I don't know what much to say. Nothing.
Amazing. Really? Think about it. You can send me a text later on, both of you.
Off cams. That's
think.
funny.
So resilience, confidence is a big one.
Know your
If you don't
source.
have it, you can develop it. And self-love, because self-love will allow you to have confidence. And when you love yourself, you will be okay with failing, which will allow you to have resilience. So I feel like self-love is a big one for me. And not cockiness. I'm not talking about being cocky.
Yeah.
I'm talking about knowing your worth.
Yeah. Boy,
know?
so what now? I got to give 3 other than the
Yeah.
3. Like,
No,
that
you
is
can
the
give
3.
any. Honestly, they can be simply.
That is the 3. Ladies and gentlemen, I think, Bush, you got it. Other than that, I say a wow factor. Like something that is unique about you, because you need to stand up and stand out if you want to survive out in this world, innit? So I'd say whether it's the fact that, and when I say wow factor, like one of them is appearance. And I only just start this because it gets rid of all of the biases, the discriminations that you get as a young black man when you're out there on the street. All of that goes when I'm in this attire, so I use it to my advantage. That's playing the game. A unique factor could be simply knowing another language, for example.
Yeah.
If you go to a networking meeting and you introduce yourself in Spanish, and then you continue your conversation about your passions to someone who can potentially help you in English, that wow factor of you've just came and introduced yourself,
Right.
I kind of think or feel like you're a productive person, you're
Cool.
worth speaking to. So
Yeah.
whatever your source is, find your source, own your source through that confidence that you had, and just know that this is my wow factor, that I'm
Yeah.
going to wow this person to get them to like me, basically. Be likable, so be willing to compromise. That's something I'll highlight. Especially with presenting and stuff in this industry, you need to understand that your dreams are your dreams, and your dreams are what you are going to become, but you're not them yet. So there may need to be sacrifices in your character or your
100%.
traits, or how you're prone to reactions, things that might trigger you, might need to let go, for example, because for the sake of a relationship that you need to maintain
100%.
or stuff like that. A lot of young people, not even young people, a lot of people, even the older generation, are caught up in ego and unable to let go.
I
of
had
certain
that quite
things.
a lot. I'm not gonna lie. When I first started,
like pride.
my ego was there, like
up, so is it up there?
like it was
Boy.
that level of, like, my ego was disgustingly harming me. Okay,
Oh,
I
man.
had to literally
What's
like.
an example though? What, like how was your ego shown in your
Okay,
character?
an example: hated rejection. Absolutely hated
Rejection. What, like relationship rejection or
no,
like,
rejection. Mate, we're not talking like relationship. I've never even been in a relationship. If you gonna ask me, like,
Yeah.
I'm just literally since the age of 17, I've been focusing on my career.
Good.
That nothing has ever like.
Got to intercept that.
Yeah,
That's what you
Every
need.
time
That's
I felt
focus.
like something was coming my way, I give it a little slap.
That's
And like,
the-
I was just like,
She said,
you
"Hey."
know, I'm running towards my dream. But no, when I say rejection, we're talking about career right now. I would, for example, pitching my idea today to Gary, massive idea. I didn't know if he was going to say yes or no. I knew it would work, but I just didn't know if he was going to say yes or no because it was too big, and the likeliness of rejection was very high.
The risk to reward.
Do you know what I'm saying? But I was okay to, and I wasn't even fully prepared, but I was like, you know what? Because Sharon yesterday was like, one of the ladies from Manchester, she was like, listen, we don't normally see Gary. Gary is never free.
So just
so
do that
take
now.
advantage. And until the last second, I was just saying, should I pitch?
Contemplating,
Should I pitch the idea right now, or should I wait until it's complete? And I wasn't afraid of rejection. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to tell him. If he doesn't like it, then I will improve it and come back with a better one, rather than just leave it.
Yeah.
Now, if you 4
Take
years
that positive
ago,
criticism from it, and they're going to improve it. And what would it take for you to say yes?
there you go. 4 or 5 years ago, I would not even ask anyone for help. Literally, I would not even be like, hey, would you be able to look over this email? Hey, would you be able to check this job opportunity? Like, check my an answer to this question for this job. Hey, can you help me produce some? I would never ask for help. Oh my God, my ego, man. I think I thought
you have to get that gone, man. Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'm doing it by myself. I'm achieving it by myself. And in reality, you can't. You just can't. So
that's impossible.
Ego is a big thing, and this
that's
is
the mad important thing. I think. And once you mastered that, it's beautiful. Because it's
Thanks,
still
it's
present.
hard.
Like I'm not saying disassociate from your ego. That's another thing. Disassociation isn't healthy. A lot of people have, like, you refer to like their demons, or your ego is there to support your character and maybe remind you of some of the things that you stand for. Do you get what I'm saying?
See, I think having dignity and a little bit of pride
Yeah.
is good. Ego is not.
Mm.
It messes with you. It really does.
But this is what I'm saying. It depends on the rooms that you're in. You need to know when to have ego and when not to. Because if you're in a room amongst individuals with ego, you need an ego. Otherwise, you are little fish. And this, I'm talking from experience. This isn't something, I'm not giving this advice as, I'm happiest this way. And no, it's when you're amongst horse racers who own a horse and they're prideful with their business and their suit. Little you isn't gonna come in with no ego as well as please help me, please.
Yeah.
They're gonna look at my man and think, you can't sit with us. You get me? So, and that's, unfortunately, that is the state of minds of some people. So it's about your judgment. When you know yourself through the first three that you mentioned, through self-love and stuff, you know what you stand for, what you're not gonna let, what you're not gonna have, what you are gonna let pass for the sake of a relationship or for the sake of an opportunity. And you'll be able to make fair judgment based on other people's characters about when an ego is necessary and when it's not. It doesn't mean you should have a strong pride. Like, there's a subtle ego where you're reminding people that you are who you are. Like what I will do. I will never let somebody now belittle me because I feel like I've done way too much for somebody to belittle me now.
But do you not feel like that's dignity though? It wouldn't be ego.
No, integrity. No. What would you say? Define dignity for me. What would you say dignity?
Good question. Let me define dignity. It's basically like not
my dignity. Like
it's not compromising your self-respect for anything or anyone. Do you know what I'm saying? So like if someone pushes it with you, you're not gonna drop your dignity and be super nice to them and leave
to them.
Do you know what I'm saying? You're gonna stand your ground and basically call them out for doing 1, 2, 3. Ego is more like
exacerbating, like kind of going out of your way to showcase who you are.
Ego is like, I am the best, I'm better than you, you're wasting my time. Or even if someone, for example, if someone did a little thing to you, instead of you letting it go and just like ignoring it because you don't know their circumstances, you're like, you know what? How can they do that to me? Who do they think they are? Do you know what I'm saying? You're not thinking about the possibilities of that person going through hell to for example, give you this thing or reply back to your message or do you know what I'm saying? So your ego comes in and you feel like you're insulted. You feel like you're
Thank you. Good. That's great education lesson. Great examples. That I think dignity is something that high levels. Keep your dignity high. Know what it is that you stand for though. When I say like dignity and ego, they can be triggered, right? Like people can trigger them. You need to know what triggers you. Learn what triggers you, and then once you have a list of things in front of you that trigger you, pick out of those things what actually, like, I've actually done this. You actually have to think to yourself, what out of these things is worth me reacting to and what's not.
Yeah, I had to learn that.
Because if somebody comes in and starts shouting at me, get out of the building, like, even though my ego is probably talking to me, my dignity is saying like, but I know that for the sake of where I am, the relationships that I've got here, the character that I'm trying to showcase for other young people to look up to, I'm gonna look at him and say, probably won't say anything. If I'm honest, I'll probably leave. But to you, I'll say this is probably the reason the young people are in the state that they're in now, because look at their role models. Like this is up. So it's about knowing when to react. Because if someone then goes and attacks your mum or something like that, you need to know it's cracking. Like it's not really talking. But
so ego is the second thing, which we expanded on quite a lot.
Yeah,
and then
but it's a big thing. It's a big thing.
Yeah.
And the third one, don't be independent. I'll hold that one. That one's got to stay up there. Don't leave him with what I said about the young man who's feeling spoon-fed and stuff. I told him I hear him because the truth. Don't let people get one over you. Let them support you, and if it's not clear, make it clear until it's clear. And what, like, if you're coming to support my project, in what capacity does that look like? For how long? And what do you want out of it? If they're not getting something out of it, what I tend to do is look within my skill set and see what they're doing. How can I contribute to what they're doing, so that we can spin this off, whether it's said or unsaid, as a mutual transaction and an interaction. It's not now you can go and pub, because I've had an organization come help me and not even help, like they've introduced themselves to help me, not fulfilled what they was actually supposed to do with me, but then after I've completed it myself, it's like, oh, look at this young person that we helped do da 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 da.
Oh my God, I hate that.
That's
I hate
crazy.
That. Yeah,
That is absolutely, that's crazy. So if that's the case, and you know that people are looking for opportunities to boost their ego so they can go about and talk to other people about who they help and how they help them, make sure that you know why you're interacting with people and how that interaction is benefiting you, or not even, I'm gonna say costing you, but even if it's not, it's all right to give to people. Like if I've got a lot of people attached to me that are more taking and giving back, that's perfectly fine as long as it's within your means. But just make sure that you're not a beg in it. You've got your own dreams. You was born alone. You're gonna make a way to go and do that with or without somebody's help. And that's what it stands.
I agree.
You get what I'm saying? If you believe in your source that much, you'll do it, man.
Yeah, I agree. Something else, 2 more things, sorry guys.
Yeah.
Compromise. I feel like you have to.
I was gonna land that, but I think you already know the gist of it. When you talked about ego, you landed bare points about compromise, willing to kind of lower yours.
Yeah. Don't compromise a lot, but compromise enough at the beginning of the journey, because you're never too little, but you are too little to other people. Do you know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. So you're a big deal to yourself, but you're not a big deal to other people. So you have to compromise at the beginning of the journey. Maybe do free work. Maybe do a free internship. We're not
drop
really,
that ego. Yeah, you
saying?
gotta do that. Yeah,
Compromise, and then obviously when the time is right, you know when to like start not compromising. Like,
do you know what? I'll give you a little tip about that. What I tend to do, over compromise. Don't even compromise. When you first introduce yourself to someone, over compromise.
What can I do for you?
No. That's too. I think that's a bit too much. But in terms of
really,
yeah, like what? If you're being
I'm willing to do. Like I'm just like, mate.
What, regularly or like what in intervals?
It depends. There's like a certain time and place, and
So
it
of
depends
course.
who I'm talking to.
Then she's hit the nail on the head.
Do you know what I'm
Exactly
saying?
that, yeah.
And if it's gonna support me with my future career, if I'm gonna get something out of it, and also not even if I'm gonna get something out of it, if whatever they're working on and whatever I'm contributing towards is gonna help the bigger picture, it's gonna help the youth, the community, whatever purpose that I think is purposeful. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And something else I was gonna say, purpose. Purpose is important.
No, why?
Why?
Yeah.
Do you know the Simon Sinek Golden Circle?
No.
Do you know Simon Sinek? Check him out. He's an author, public speaker.
I thought she was going to tell me the cartoon or a TV show or something.
No.
Simon Sinek.
Simon Sinek. No. So check him out. He's amazing, and he's got this golden circle kind of theory rule. I don't know what you want to call it, and it's like normally brands and advertisements would start with the what, the how, and then the why.
The why, yeah.
What you want to do, how you do it, and then why you want to do it. His golden circle is the why. The why is in the middle, and then it's the how, and then it's the what. The second you figure out, figure out your why, you're sorted.
You're good.
Because you know your purpose. You know what you're doing it for. You know
who
what
you're going to impact, how you're going to impact them, and why. Yeah, exactly.
And it doesn't always have to be people. It doesn't always have to be someone. It can be yourself. But it's always nice to give. I think, to be fair, like my ultimate goal, I don't think I've ever said this before, but my ultimate goal, like my career, I want to give. When I say give, I want to give in terms of, I don't think I'm the most inspirational person, but I want to inspire people. I want to give in terms of like financially, I want to build places, I want to build cities, countries, communities, I want to build careers. Emotionally, I want to be there for people. Do you know what I'm saying? I want my career to be all giving, because the more you give, the more you get. Yeah. So, final question of the day after this,
lovely experience.
Honestly, it's been so enlightening talking to you and just like.
No, mutually, man.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Mutually. Young people should do this often. Word up.
I know it's been a good conversation. So, what do you think 3 things that employers should start doing? Because we talked about holding people accountable, especially the massive organizations.
Yeah.
BBC, we're gonna cut that out. Just put a little.
Ain't gonna bother nothing.
Do a little. Anyway.
They know what they're advertising.
How can we? What can they do?
Get in contact with us. As a Real Ferdinand Foundation, and I will talk to myself, talk to you, talk to Gary about the opportunities that they have available so that we can help to market them via a podcast. There's one way that can be actually marketed well by each of the organizations and put out in newsletters and stuff. That way, organisations who do already offer opportunities can be better marketed to young people that go Brixton and Loughborough and to the demographics that you don't usually get outreach to.
Okay.
What else could organisations be doing? They could be like advocating for young people, man. Asking young people what, like with the types of jobs, like we're in a digital age now, we're moving really fast, like into a new age where we're not even too certain what the jobs in the future are going to look like. So organisations and employers, especially ones that are with the times and are going to be monopolies in the future, what our future London looks like in terms of digital careers, coding, tech, they should be taking more of a stance in partnerships with schools and maybe input in, I know we have like ICT, but look at what you do in ICT. Like I can't even remember that, probably be rubbish.
I know.
But if they started to put organisations that will be leading the future of our economy, especially tech firms, should be in contact with schools and giving young people mandatory curriculum lessons in tech, like coding and stuff like that.
So reach out to us, RFF, and then connect more with schools. And then the third thing would be?
The third thing is connect with moi so that you can give me incentives. We need incentives for young people to be good people. I feel like,
we really do.
That's the thing, because you're fighting, right? We're fighting right now, like to change kids is hard. You literally got to barter with kids. Come on, be a good person.
Yeah.
They need to get in contact with us and in contact with me. I'm running a scheme where young people are able to redeem a form of achievement. So just say they did like a accredited course and they just passed it and they get a certification and an achievement. Anything like that, you're able to redeem it for an experience. So on there, I like all of these different organisations across London. You've got Virgin Experiences, we've got O2 Arena, all of these places that are profiting a lot, especially off of our demographics when we've got concerts and stuff going on. How about you say to us, we offer a month, 50 tickets to a show, and young people are able to redeem a ticket with their formal certification. You submit a PDF certificate, and then in return you get your ticket to go to see the concert or to wherever it is that you want to go. That way, you organisations are giving us a leg to actually stand on. When we're going into these communities and we're fighting for kids to come to our sessions, to work with us, we need that immediate, how is it going to benefit me now, is what we're often challenged with. And although experienced youth workers can kind of deal with that scenario and kind of help a young person to see a vision, it will make a lot, even ground level, any skill level youth worker will be able to at least say, right, if you interact with us, you have the opportunity more to find pathways or redeem your positive experiences, like positive experiences and incentives.
Cool.
I think that's what they need to do. Open up your doors, man. Let us know more about you and let us come in. What can go wrong, man? Nutboxed, episode 1.
Episode 1. Thank you so much.
Pleasure, man. Give me a fist bump. Let's see.
Thank you so much, man. Yeah, this has been mad. Thank you. And that's the end of the episode. Woo-hoo.